The alien fleet arrived over Earth with the arrogance of hunters who had already chosen their prey. Their warships were huge and shining, stretching like black mountains against the stars. From their command deck, the alien officers looked down at the blue and green planet with bored expressions. They had done this before, to dozens of worlds. Earth, they thought, would be no different. Reports from their spies had painted humans as fragile, divided, and technologically behind. In their minds, this would be quick and easy a victory to be celebrated over drinks by the end of the week. The alien commander, tall figure with pale silver skin and eyes like polished glass, leaned back in his seat. Around him, his officers laughed. They compared Earth's outdated ships to flying scrap, its soldiers to children with sticks. "We will take their capital cities in the first 12 hours, one officer said. "The rest will fall in another 12. They were so confident that they transmitted an open message to the planet, telling humans to surrender now and save themselves from needless pain. The message was broadcast in every human language, loud and mocking, almost daring Earth to fight back. But far away from the alien sensors, buried deep under the Nevada desert, a very different kind of meeting was taking place. In a secure underground base, a dozen human generals and scientists stood around a dark table, watching the alien broadcast play on a large screen. They listened to every word without a single sign of fear, the mocking tone, the threats, the promises of destruction. When the recording ended, the room fell silent. Finally, one man, his face hidden in shadow, leaned forward. His voice was calm, almost amused. 2 days, he said softly. They think they will finish us in 2 days. They don't know. That's more than we need. No one in the room laughed. No one spoke. Only quick glances were exchanged, and then hands began to move across control panels. Codes were entered, doors sealed. Screens lit up with encrypted channels. Orders went out, not through the visible global networks, but through hidden quantum relays that no alien system could detect. Around the world, people in plain clothes received quiet messages on old, dusty devices that had been inactive for decades. One by one, they opened them, read the short instructions, and left without a word. In orbit, the alien fleet had started, scanning Earth's surface for possible resistance. Their sensors found military bases, radar stations, and launch silos. The commander gave a single order: destroy them before we land. Beams of light erupted from their warships, striking targets across the planet. Fire and smoke filled the sky in some regions, but to their surprise, many of the missiles and artillery pieces they destroyed were empty, abandoned. It was as if Earth had left them there on purpose, waiting to be hit. A junior alien officer hesitated before speaking. "Commander, I am detecting something unusual." The commander frowned. "Speak." The officer's hands moved nervously over the controls. "It's a signal, far beyond our formation. Deep space, moving toward us." The commander waved it off without interest. "Probably debris from a mining field. Ignore it." The officer obeyed, but he couldn't shake the feeling that the reading was too precise, too steady to be debris. Back under the Nevada desert, the shadow-faced man stood before a massive holographic display. A small red dot moved slowly toward a cluster of alien ships. One of the generals turned to him. "They haven't noticed it yet." The man's lips curved into the smallest smile. "They think it's nothing. Let them think that." High above, the planet. The alien commander ordered the next stage of the invasion, the deployment of atmospheric control ships to disrupt weather and communications. Massive silver craft began descending into Earth's upper atmosphere. The alien officers were already discussing which human cities would be used as their new colonies when a sudden alarm cut through the bridge. The same junior officer's voice was tense now. "Commander, that debris has changed course. It is accelerating directly toward us." The commander straightened, his voice sharp for the first time. "How fast?" The officer swallowed. "It's faster than anything we've ever recorded." Far below, in the hidden human base, every eye was on the same moving red dot. The shadow-faced man's voice was calm as he spoke into a secure channel. "They see it now." The reply came from somewhere distant and cold, a voice so deep it felt like it belonged to the stars themselves. "Good. Let them watch." In orbit, the alien commander stared at the approaching object. It was massive, its silhouette unlike any ship in the known galaxy. It moved with impossible speed, and there was no heat signature of engines. The commander's skin prickled. For the first time, he felt something he could not name, not yet fear, but close. He ordered all long-range weapons to target it. Earth's surface, millions of people went about their lives, unaware that the first move of the invasion had already been countered before it even began. And far out in the dark, the strange object kept coming, silent and unstoppable, like a shadow swallowing the stars. When it was close enough for the alien flagship's sensors to focus, a faint signal pulsed from the object. It was not a weapon. It was not a request. It was a message. 3 words, spoken in clear, unshakable human English. "Leave or stay forever." The alien bridge fell silent. Somewhere deep in the commander's mind, the unspoken truth began to take shape. This was no accident. This was no lucky defense. The humans had been waiting. The alien commander did not answer the message right away. The words still echoed in his mind. Leave or stay forever. He tried to convince himself it was a bluff. Humans were primitive, weak, divided. This was probably some desperate trick to buy time. But deep down, a small and unwelcome thought whispered that they might have underestimated this world. On the alien flagship's bridge, his officers waited for orders. "Fire on it," the commander finally said. Energy beams lit up the black of space, rushing toward the approaching craft. But as the beams neared their target, something strange happened. They bent, not around a shield, not deflected by armor. They simply curved away, like light refusing to touch the object. The alien crew stared, unsure if their weapons had failed or if the universe itself had bent the rules for this thing. Down on Earth, the underground Nevada base, the shadow-faced man stood in silence, watching the alien attacks harmlessly scatter. Around him, the generals showed no sign of relief. It was all going exactly as they had planned. "I'll try again," one of them said. The man nodded. "Let them waste their shots. They're learning the wrong lesson." The alien fleet tried again. This time they launched guided projectiles, heavy and fast. They armed them with warheads designed to tear apart battleships. Dozens of them streaked toward the object. One by one, every single warhead exploded far from its target. The alien crew checked their systems in disbelief. Their targeting data was perfect. The weapons had simply changed course. "Commander," the junior officer said carefully, "I believe our systems are being interfered with." The commander turned sharply. "Interfered with how?" The officer hesitated. "From inside." That word "inside" struck the bridge like a hammer. Their ships were closed systems. No foreign code could just slip in. But even as they spoke, more alarms began to sound. Lights flickered. Navigation panels went dark for seconds at a time. And then, in the middle of the chaos, the alien commander saw something that chilled him. The large craft, still moving toward them, had changed its trajectory. It was no longer coming in a straight line. It was heading directly for the flagship. In the human base, an operator looked up from her console. "They've noticed the change." The shadow-faced man gave a slow nod. "Good. It's time they understand what's coming." He tapped a control, and somewhere far above, the great black craft shifted speed again. Surging forward faster than anything in recorded alien history. The alien commander ordered his fleet to block the object. 4 of their largest warships moved into position, weapons charged to full. But when the black craft reached them, it did not fire. It did not ram. It simply passed between them, and in that moment, all 4 ships went completely dark. No engines. No weapons. No lights. It's just dead metal drifting in space. The commander's voice cracked for the first time. "What is it?" But no one could answer. None of their databases had a record of such a vessel. It was not human, at least not the kind of human technology they knew. And yet somehow, it answered in human language. from the darkness of space. A signal pulsed again. This time it was longer. You have 24 hours. Then you will be gone. The bridge fell silent. Some officers exchanged nervous glances. Others looked down at their consoles, pretending to work. Wanted to ignore the warning, to keep pushing forward with the invasion? But every instinct told him this was no idle threat. If they stayed, they would not survive the next day. Far below, in the Nevada base, the shadow-faced man turned away from the holographic display. Phase 2 begins, he said quietly. Across the globe, hidden facilities came to life. Places the aliens had never detected, never even guessed existed. And from those facilities, ships began to rise into the sky. They were small, black, and silent. Moving with the same strange speed as the mysterious craft above, the invasion was still young, but already the balance had shifted. The aliens thought they had come to crush Earth. Now, it felt as if Earth was simply waiting to crush them. And somewhere, far beyond the alien fleet, deep in the cold dark of space, more red dots began to appear on every human screen. The aliens did not know it yet. But the worst part was this: the first craft was not alone. From the streets of Earth's cities, the night sky looked strange. People saw faint streaks of light climbing upward, faster and faster, vanishing into the stars. At first some thought they were meteors going the wrong way. But in truth, they were launches, hundreds of them, from hidden places the aliens had never seen, in orbit. Alien radar screens filled with movement. Hundreds of small, dark shapes were rising from the planet. They were not the crude human fighter craft that the fleet's database had on file. These were sleek, black ships with no visible thrusters, no heat signatures, and impossible acceleration. They weaved through space like shadows made solid, each one unpredictable and precise. The alien commander's orders came fast. Destroy them before they form up. Warships fired beams and projectiles, filling the void with fire. But each time a human craft was targeted, it vanished for a blink, a ripple in space, like a stone sinking into water, and reappeared somewhere else. No weapon could track them long enough to hit. On the flagship's bridge, frustration turned to confusion. Alien targeting systems began to freeze, not from power loss, but from endless errors. Screens flashed messages and alien text messages no one had programmed. Then the words changed, switching to clear human English. "We see you." The junior officer at the sensor station swallowed hard. "Commander, they are inside our systems again." The commander slammed a fist against his armrest. "Shut them out." But every attempt to lock the systems failed. The human ships weren't jamming them. They were rewriting the code in real time, as if the alien fleet's computers belonged to them. Far below in the Nevada base, the shadow-faced man stood with arms folded. Round him, operators called out confirmations. Asia launch complete. Atlantic wing in position. Ghost fleet forming perimeter. On the large display, human ships and the single massive black craft moved together, forming a wide circle around the alien formation. Above, the alien crews tried to regroup, but their shields began to collapse. One by one, status lights turned from green to red. It wasn't weapons tearing the shields apart. It was something inside the fleet's own systems, switching them off. The commander's mouth went dry. "They are disarming us without firing a shot," he muttered. The first physical strike came suddenly. One of the alien destroyers burst into bright flame, not from a missile impact, but from its own ammunition. Cooking off as internal safeties failed, the ship cracked apart and drifted into darkness. Panic rippled through the alien fleet. They had expected a messy, violent fight, not this quiet. Invisible dismantling of their power. In the human base, a general leaned toward the shadow-faced man. "We could finish them now." The man shook his head. "Not yet. They must see what waits, if they ever return." Then the sky burned. From Earth's surface, bright streaks flashed upward, dozens at once. To those watching from the ground, it was like the stars themselves were being pulled toward space. The alien fleet saw the truth. Heavy human strike craft, much larger than the smaller black ships, now entering the battle. Their armor shimmered with strange distortions, bending light, making them hard to focus on. The commander tried one last act of control: form the wall, protect the flagship. But his orders came too late. The massive black craft, the one that had first delivered the warning, moved to the front of the human formation. Its presence alone forced the alien fleet to break formation. Systems failed in sequence, ships turned in the wrong direction, and weapons fired at empty space. One alien officer whispered, what many on the bridge already feared: we were never attacking them. They were waiting for us to arrive. And as the circle of human ships tightened around the alien fleet, the commander finally understood why that first message had sounded so calm. Leave or stay forever. Because staying meant never leaving again. The alien homeworld was a world of shining towers and endless skies, a place that had never known defeat in living memory. In the great war hall of the High Council, leaders gathered to watch the invasion's live feed, expected to see victory. Instead, the screen showed a pale, trembling face, the commander of the invasion fleet. His silver skin was dull, his eyes hollow. This is Fleet Commander Varen, he began, voice unsteady. To the High Council, if you value our species, do not attack Earth. Ever. He paused, as if searching for the right words, but only fear came through. We cannot defeat them. We cannot even touch them. I am ending this transmission. Before anyone could respond, the screen went black. No signal. No sound. Just silence. The council chamber erupted with questions, accusations, and disbelief. The aliens had sent fleets against empires larger than Earth's entire planet and crushed them within hours. How could this one world cause such panic? Far from the homeworld, in orbit above Earth, the alien fleet was collapsing. 70% of their ships were already disabled, drifting hulks stripped of power and weapons. Not a single shot had been fired by human hands to destroy them. The massive black craft moved silently through the field, locking its strange energy beams onto the dead ships and pulling them away into the darkness. Where it took them, no one knew. No wreckage was left behind. No survivors returned on the alien flagship. The commander's hand shook as he looked at the shrinking number of active ships. The human fleet had surrounded them completely now, their ships forming a perfect sphere. There was no way through. Every attempt to open a hyperspace corridor failed. Space itself seemed closed. The shadow-faced man in the Nevada base watched the trap tighten. They're asking for terms of surrender, one of his aides reported. Shall I answer? The man's eyes stayed on the display. Yes, he said. Tell them this war is over when we say it is. The message reached the alien bridge. The commander read it in silence, knowing what it meant. Their survival was no longer in their own hands. The humans controlled the battlefield completely. They could destroy the fleet now, but instead they waited, letting the fear grow. One by one, alien ships sent surrender signals. Some shut down their systems entirely, hoping to be spared. The massive black craft moved closer to the flagship, its hull so dark it seemed to drink in the light around it. A final signal came from the humans, short and cold. Prepare to leave. You have 1 day. The commander knew they would obey. There was no fight left in them. In the shadows of the Nevada base, the man watched the alien fleet surrender complete. Around him, his officers began shutting down operations. The mission was not just about winning, it was about sending a message so strong that no one would ever try this again, above Earth. The human ships began to pull back, leaving the aliens trapped but alive. The message had been delivered. The galaxy would hear of it, and the war that was supposed to take 2 days was already over. Exactly 48 hours after the first alien warship entered Earth's orbit, the skies were empty again. No black shapes blotted out the stars. No fire streaked across the atmosphere. It was as if the invasion had never happened. The only sign it had was the strange, heavy silence that hung over the planet, and the feeling deep in every human's heart that something immense had just shifted in the universe. The alien fleet that had come with such confidence was gone. Not destroyed, not scattered, gone. No wreckage floated in orbit. No escape pods drifted through space. The ships had simply vanished, taken away by forces the aliens themselves could not understand. Only a handful remained to limp back toward their homeworld, carrying a single message burned into their minds. On the alien homeworld, that message spread like a virus. Survivors refused to speak of what they had seen. Some locked themselves away in silence. Others resigned from the fleet entirely, their eyes avoiding every question. The words they had heard from the humans, and from that impossible black craft, were repeated in whispers. Choose Earth as your enemy, and your war is already lost. Back on Earth, human leaders gathered in the Nevada base. The massive black craft rested in a secure docking bay, its hull still absorbing the light around it. It had no flags, no markings, but every person in the room knew what it was. Not a weapon built for war, but a promise made long ago. The shadow-faced man stood before it, speaking quietly with its crew, or whatever they truly were. "This is done," one of the generals said. "We've made our point." The man shook his head slightly. "No, we've made a warning. The point will be made when the galaxy believes it." He turned to a console and sent a single transmission into deep space. Not encrypted, not hidden. It was meant to be heard. The message was simple. Earth is off limits. Weeks later, strange reports began to surface in distant star systems. Enemy fleets that had once terrorized the weak were retreating from human colonies without a fight. Traders claimed they saw alien patrols reverse course at the first sight of a human vessel. And in the deep black between the stars, there were rumors of a vast shadow moving silently, watching, ensuring the warning was obeyed. On Earth, life slowly returned to normal. Children played under clear skies. Cities rebuilt what little damage had been done. Most people would never know how close the planet had come to annihilation. But somewhere far away, the galaxy now carried a new rule. One so absolute it was never written down, only spoken in quiet fear. If you want to end your own invasion in 2 days, just choose Earth as your enemy, and in the cold, endless dark. The shadow-faced man watched the stars and waited, because he knew one day someone would forget the warning. And when that day came, Earth would remind them again.